Yo, Sanmanan. This has been bugging me. This has been bugging me. Yesterday I went to rugby practice, and you know, and I'm chilling there with certain guys, and you know, one of them goes, "Yo, Benson, aren't you too old to be?" You know, um, he was saying it as a joke. It was just friendly banter amongst gents, and I laughed, and it sat at the back of my mind, and I woke up this morning to watch Lakers versus the Timberwolves, and I'm watching LeBron James at age 38. At age 38, I'm 34, and watching how he's playing and how he's moving and what he's doing, and I'm going, this guy is dominating guys who are 28. He's dominating guys who are 25. He's dominating guys who are meant to be at their so-called peak. You know, um, I watch a lot of the UFC, and I'm watching guys like Usman. I'm watching guys like Alex. I'm watching Ulio. I'm watching all these guys in their mid to late 30s winning championship belts. Winning championship belts. I think of so many of my heroes. I think of Stan Lee, who wrote that comic Fantastic Four. I think he was 40 years old, before he blew up. You think of Samuel L. Jackson. You think of Morgan Freeman. People in their 40s, and we get into the practice Izolo, and there's a time where we split forwards and backs, and me and this gentleman we both backline players, and we're doing a sprinting drill. And we're doing a sprinting drill where you go and you sprint and then you recover and you sprint and you recover, And I find myself, I'm very quick. If you guys don't know, I'm go speed racer, you know. And I find myself dominating the younger guys, and I'm not even pushing. I'm just talented, And I'm dominating, drill after drill after drill, and I'm watching these younger guys falling off. And again, there's also young guys that are keeping up. I say all of that to say this. I don't know about other communities, but I know my community. We are so fixated with age. Age is our biggest kryptonite. You know, it's either you are too young or you're too old. When you are in your teens, you are told lay off. Ungajoli, asikho isikhathi sokujola. You get into university, focus on degree, ufunda uphase. Next thing, you get there, and where's the kids? Why are you not getting married? Oh, Benzin, uzohlanganisa u-30. Oh, awunayo, you don't have this, you don't have that. We're so fixated with age. We find ourselves in a space where, when I decided to leave education at age 31, after being there for 10 years, people were saying, Wuti, you're too old to want to start. What's wrong with us, guys? Why do we get caught up in that? Why is it that we get lost in that age thing? In 2020 we were playing touch, and we shouldn't have, but we were during lockdown. And I remember, actually it was the latter part of the year, so I think we were fine. And I remember there's a good friend of mine, Upegi, and he was saying, Wuti, he wants to start his pre-season because he's going back to play rugby, and he's my age, or maybe like a year or two older. And I'm like, oh, this is me now. Oh, bruh, aren't you too old to be playing contact rugby? And he's saying, I'm playing rugby because I'm old. Huh? I'm going back to playing rugby because I'm old. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. It's only once I had gone back. I heard him. I went back in 2021. I started playing rugby. 32 years old, I started playing. Physically. Hits, passes, being part of that, feeling that testosterone, got into fighting, got back into fighting, boom. getting into that space and sparring and feeling that testosterone, I realized, Uguti, from my mid to late 20s, someone had convinced me, oh, Benson, you're getting old, or you're getting older. Slow down. Your body doesn't recover as well. And it doesn't. No bullshit. It doesn't recover as well. However, as your testosterone drops, once you get into your 30s, you need things that will help you push it up, such as physical sport. Not that type of naughty, dirty, gutter brain thinking. But yes, that adds as well. You know, you need to feel alive and feel like a man. And that whole bullshit, I'm trying to live till I'm 100. So 35 is, I'm not even close to being halfway. So I'm trying to get to 100. If I'm trying to get to 100 and I'm old at 35, I look at my age mates and abanye bashanga imkhaba, abanye phensini ufuna ukuba ne-six pack, ufuna ukuba nemali. Ngikufuna konke boy. Ngikufuna konke boy. You want to get so fat you can't fit in your Lambo? Bro, I want to just slide out that Lambo. I want to have money and I want this body and I want this health and I want that spiritual and I want that mental and I want that psychological glow. I want it all. Why is it limited? Why can't I start now? Why can't I start now? My mother started teaching in 84, if I'm not mistaken. And she started teaching in 84. You remember back then, oh ma'am, you know, a figure ma'am, all soft and stuff, teaching high school. And watching her grow, watching her move in terms of senior levels has been nothing but amazing. But in 2015, she decided to resign or retire. I don't know which one was which. Retire. Yeah, resigning is when you're older. No, she resigned. Retiring is the 63 plus. She resigned. And she moved to Joburg. And I remember her moving to Joburg. At that time, I was teaching at a school in Linden, and it's an amazing IEP, a private school, in Linden, Catholic school. And I remember saying to my mom, apply. My mom is a lady who had to move from Emakaya, fetching water from the river, Bethesda, to moving into the township. So think of that mental change from rurals to township. That's a jump. She then moved from township to the suburbs of Newcastle. She then moved in her 50s from suburbs Newcastle to suburbs Johannesburg. Another mental jump. She then had the courage to say, I've taught in the township my whole life. This is all I know. Now I'm teaching from matric. Now she's teaching grade 1s and 2s in a private Catholic school. She's had to reinvent herself. Yes, it's had education from a career point, but in terms of different space, she's had to reinvent herself at every stage. At every stage. It's crazy. Umandela leaves prison. I don't know how old was he when he left prison, 75 or whatever. Or minus back because he was president at 77. So you can back 4 years. So at 73, this guy decides to leave prison. He decides. Leaves prison. 77 years old, they say, Hewa, president. There's no vets for being a president or a Rhodes. There's no textbook how to be a president 101. You figure it out. You figure it out. You know, you don't go, no. No. At 77, Danga did it. At 77. I stand to be corrected, but Umaponya built Maponya Mall at 94. Some of you guys can correct me in the DMs or in the comments below. That's crazy. You 32 telling us that you're too old. You 32 telling us that you're too old. Guys are starting new careers, starting a business, retiring from one space to get into another space and blowing up. You think about this podcast space that people didn't know. I didn't know about it 10 years ago. You've got guys that are starting on my podcast 40 years old. Started in 2020, boom, blew up, multi-millionaire. Now, when are you telling us that you're too old? This too old mentality is absolute BS. I've got a story, and then I'll close off with the story. So I taught at this one school here in Santon. Amazing. Shout out to the school. And I'll never forget, I was talking to one of my parents, so one of the kids that I'm teaching's mom. Amazing lady. And I'm speaking to this lady, and she was saying, Guti, she had two kids. The one was in grade 6. I think the other one was like in grade 8. So boy and a girl combination. Can't remember the dynamics exactly. And I was like, and you throw those things and you're like, yo, the school fees. And she goes, yo, school fees seem low, and at that time, I think she was paying about a joint 30,000 rand a month, So I was like, yo, the US parents are doing very, very well, being able to fight and put together some cash for your kids to go to this amazing school. And she was like, no, I'm a single mom. I was like, geez, that's even harder, and she's like, no, let me tell you my story. So she's a lady who was born in Cosmo City in Joburg, in the north of Joburg. It's a township here by Randburg. And she was saying, Guti, she was dating this guy, and growing up in the township, she was dating this guy, and this guy, I think, worked as a mechanic or worked at some car dealership, and she was just having those odd jobs after matric, whatever the case may be. She then fell pregnant. Boom. She fell pregnant. But him, the daughter, and this lady that I'm talking about all lived in the same two bedroom RDP house, She then fell pregnant with the daughter. She then worked at, I think it was a Checkers or a Spar or a ShopRite, packing packets at that time. Packing packets. She then fell pregnant again with their second child. Fell pregnant again with their second child. Lapo, the daughter's like 2, and then this one is newborn baby, And at that time, her husband passes away. Or her partner. She was never married. Her husband or partner passes away. Works at Spar, packs packets, got 2 kids. Luckily, her mom also stays at Cosmo, so she had to move her and her 2 kids back to stay with her moms. And she was telling me how painful that experience was. And it hit her. She needs to go back to school. She needs to upgrade her matric marks. And that's what she did. This is a lady who was packing packets during the day and then studying at night. Packing packets, studying at night. Very blessed to have one human being who can assist. There's many human beings. You have an aunt, you have a grand, you have a friend, you have someone. Reach out to someone and help. She is a lady at that time in her early 20s, dealing with the newborn, dealing with the 2-year-old, and trying to figure this out. She upgraded her matric, applied to NSFAS, got a NSFAS loan or NSFAS financial aid, and then she did her LLB. Finished her LLB, did her honors, finished, did her internship. She's explaining, she's like, then I was studying at Wits, and then when I went from Wits, and then I'm interning, and and she's saying that as she's moving into these spaces, she's taking her mom and her 2 kids with her. So now she's studying at Wits, and she's got a flat there at Wits, and she's taken her little family with her mom to the flat. And then she was saying that she's interning wherever she was interning, and she's moving now, and she's moving in Randburg, and she moved up, and within a space of 10 years, this lady blew up. Imagine that story of, we will say, oh fuck, I've got kids, I can't go back to school. She says, because I have kids, I have to go back to school. I'm too old, I can't play rugby. It's because I'm old, I gotta play rugby. We can't keep using these excuses as I'm a fence or as these gates. We need to use these excuses as the wind in our sail. I have to work harder because financially I'm broke. I'm broke. So I have to work harder. I have to get up. Oh, I'm sick. I have to get up because I'm sick. I have to take a walk. I have to drink this water. I have to do these push-ups. Stop blaming your age. Stop blaming your age. You're 50. You've got no savings. But because you're 50, because you have no savings, that's when you start this business. That's when you start this business. I'm only 14. Because you're 14 and you've got no cash, that's why you start this business. Take your camera, you take your mom's camera, your granny's camera, you put it in front of your face like what I'm doing, and you record something. I don't care what it is. You talk about at school, these are my favorite subjects. And let it morph into something else. You 50, you 70, take a camera, get one of your grandkids, your next door neighbor to take a camera, put it in front of your face, and talk about what you go through as a 70-year-old. Talk about your life in the 50s, whatever the case may be. Do something. Start a business. Go buy my orange here at a wholesaler for 50 cents an orange, sell 1 rand an orange. Do something. Do something. You fat, you've got gout, you've got diabetes, start playing sports. Something. Don't use age as an excuse. Don't use whatever setting you have around you, whatever challenges as an excuse. Use that as motivation. Guys, I love you guys. If I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe I'm just too excited. Maybe I'm motivated. Maybe I'm the one that just wants to blow up. Hungry for success. And if I'm right, let me know. Comment. Let's share your story. Let's engage. Maybe one of these good days we'll all jump on an Instagram live and just engage and talk about these stories and grow together. Have yourselves a fantastic